Movies have a way of pulling us into different worlds, whether it's the chaos of a war deal gone wrong, a courtroom battle that hits close to home, or a hilarious fairy tale about an ogre who just wants some peace and quiet. Today, we're diving into 10 movies that have everything: action, drama, laughs, and even a little romance. From the wild business of arms dealing in War Dogs to the emotional intensity of The Judge, and from the mind-bending world of The Matrix Resurrections to the explosive fun of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we've got a lineup that covers it all. We'll break down the plot, the highlights, and what makes each of these films worth watching. So sit back, relax, and let's talk movies. Starting with a story about two guys who probably should have never been trusted with government contracts. Have you ever heard the saying, "Fake it till you make it"? Well, these guys took that to a whole new level. War Dogs, released in 2016, is based on a true story about two 20-something dudes who somehow land a $300 million contract to arm the US military. Sounds like a bad idea? Yeah, it was. The movie follows David Packouz, played by Miles Teller, and Ephraim Diveroli, played by Jonah Hill. David is struggling working as a massage therapist, while Ephraim is knee-deep in shady arms dealing. The two team up, exploiting a loophole in military contracts, and start making bank. Fast forward a bit, and they're shipping weapons, lying to dangerous people, and pretending they know what they're doing. Spoiler, they don't. Eventually, the lies catch up, the FBI gets involved, and Ephraim screws over his own best friend. Classic. In the end, David barely escapes serious jail time, while Ephraim gets a few years behind bars. It's a wild, chaotic ride with moments that make you laugh and others that make you seriously question humanity. Now, if you thought those guys made questionable choices, wait until you meet the folks in the next movie. Number 2 on the list is The Judge. Released in 2014, The Judge is what happens when you mix courtroom drama with deep family wounds that never quite healed. Starring Robert Downey Jr. as Hank Palmer, a slick big city lawyer, and Robert Duvall as his tough-as-nails father, Judge Joseph Palmer, this movie is packed with emotions, legal battles, and some serious father-son tension. Hank returns to his small hometown when his mother dies, but things take a turn when his father is accused of murder. Yep, the town's beloved judge might have killed someone. Hank, who has a rocky relationship with his dad, steps in to defend him, peeling back layers of unresolved resentment along the way. It's not just about proving innocence, it's about understanding each other after years of silence and anger. The film ends on a bittersweet note. Justice is served, but not in the way anyone expects. It's emotional, gripping, and reminds you that family relationships can be messy, complicated, and sometimes worth fighting for. Speaking of fights, the next movie takes us to a battle of biblical proportions. What if someone in biblical times tried to fake being the Messiah? That's the wild premise of The Book of Clarence, a 2024 film starring Lakeith Stanfield. This one blends comedy, drama, and some deep existential questions in a way that feels fresh and honestly kind of brilliant. Clarence is a regular guy living in Jerusalem who's tired of being broke and overlooked. Seeing how much fame and power Jesus has, Clarence decides, why not be the next Messiah? Bad idea. He gathers followers, pulls off miracles using tricks, and tries to convince people he's the real deal. But of course, playing God comes with consequences. As Clarence's lies unravel, he's faced with the reality of faith, purpose, and his own shortcomings. Without giving too much away, let's just say it's a ride that balances humor with deep thought-provoking moments. Now, from ancient times to the future, we're diving into a world where reality is an illusion. The Matrix Resurrections is the 4th installment in the iconic Matrix franchise, directed by Lana Wachowski, who directed the original trilogy. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss return as Neo and Trinity, but this time things aren't what they seem. After the events of the original trilogy, the world has changed, and so has Neo's life. He's living in a version of reality that seems pretty ordinary, and he has no memory of the Matrix or the epic battle he fought to break free from it. But soon, he begins to see things that don't add up, and his old world starts to bleed through. The film introduces new characters, like Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick, who helps Neo get back into the action. The real twist is that Neo and Trinity's connection is key to the new war between humans and machines. And let's just say there are plenty of mind-bending, reality-shattering moments along the way. Resurrections is both a continuation of the original story and a meta-commentary on reboots, nostalgia, and the impact of technology. It plays with the familiar themes of choice, free will, and human existence that made the original Matrix so revolutionary, but also takes a fresh, sometimes humorous approach to the action and philosophy. The ending? Well, let's just say it leaves a lot open to interpretation. It's definitely a Matrix movie, full of action, mind-bending visuals, and a lot of head-scratching moments. But it also carries a sense of closure, or at least the possibility of something new. If you're a fan of the original trilogy, this one's worth checking out, even if it's not quite the same groundbreaking experience. If you thought that was intense, wait till we storm the White House. White House Down is a fast-paced, over-the-top action thriller that's like Die Hard meets the White House, with a touch of political drama and a whole lot of explosions. Directed by Roland Emmerich, the film stars Channing Tatum as John Cale, a Capitol policeman and military veteran who's just trying to land a job with the Secret Service. His day goes from bad to worse when, while giving his daughter a tour of the White House, terrorists take over the building, seize the president, played by Jamie Foxx, and threaten national security. Now, it's up to Cale, who's got zero time to waste, to save the president and prevent a full-blown disaster. He's not a superhero, he's not a secret agent, but he's got some serious skills from his military background. His daughter Emily, played by Joey King, doesn't just sit around either. She ends up playing a key role in helping him out. The two have a good father-daughter dynamic that adds some humor and warmth amidst all the chaos. The film is packed with non-stop action, from epic shootouts to a heart-racing helicopter chase. It's not aiming to be some highbrow political thriller, it's here for the spectacle. The ending wraps up with a big showdown, and of course, a heroic moment for Cale. Is it realistic? Absolutely not, but it's entertaining as heck. And if you're in the mood for a popcorn flick with thrills, laughs, and a few cool one-liners, White House Down is the ride you need. The next movie is a cross of a rom-com and action movie rolled into one. This 2005 film follows John and Jane Smith, a seemingly normal married couple, except they're both secret assassins hired to kill each other. Directed by Doug Liman, the film stars Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie as John and Jane Smith, a seemingly ordinary married couple living in the suburbs. But there's a catch. Neither of them knows that the other is a highly trained, highly secretive assassin working for competing agencies. The movie kicks off when both of their secret lives are accidentally revealed to each other, and suddenly their marriage is a war zone. They're both sent on assignments to kill each other, unaware that their respective employers are secretly pitting them against one another. What follows is a hilarious, explosive, and action-packed roller coaster as John and Jane try to take each other out while simultaneously trying to figure out how their marriage ended up like this. Amidst the chaotic gunfights, car chases, and epic showdowns, there's this ongoing tension. Are they going to end up killing each other, or will they rekindle the spark in their relationship? As the movie progresses, the two begin to realize that the real problem isn't each other, but the lies and secrets that have been keeping them apart. The film's ending? It wraps up with a wild, over-the-top action sequence. But in the end, John and Jane decide to face the truth and work through their issues together. It's a fun, high-octane film that's got the right balance of romance, humor, and suspense. Plus, it's hard not to enjoy watching two of the biggest movie stars of the time playing off each other with such chemistry. We're stepping away from playful, high-octane spy games and into something much more real. Mr. and Mrs. Smith was all about explosions, deception, and a little married couple mayhem. This next movie takes us into the heart of a true story, where heroism isn't about secret identities, but about ordinary people facing the unthinkable. Released in 2016, Patriots Day is an intense, gripping film that brings the real-life events of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing to the screen. Directed by Peter Berg and starring Mark Wahlberg, the movie blends action, drama, and real-life heroism to tell the story of how law enforcement, first responders, and ordinary citizens came together in the aftermath of the attack. The film follows Tommy Saunders, played by Wahlberg, a fictional Boston police officer who finds himself at the center of the chaos when two homemade bombs explode near the marathon's finish line. What starts as a horrific tragedy quickly turns into a citywide manhunt as authorities race against time to identify and capture the perpetrators, Dzhokhar and Tamerlan Tsarnaev. The movie doesn't just focus on the police, it also follows survivors, FBI agents, and everyday people whose lives were changed forever. One of the most intense parts of the movie is the Watertown shootout, where police officers face against the Tsarnaev brothers in a brutal gunfight. The tension is off the charts, and you can feel the raw fear and adrenaline. Eventually, Tamerlan is killed, and Dzhokhar is captured hiding in a boat, bringing the city a sense of justice. The film ends on a powerful note, honoring the victims, the survivors, and the incredible resilience of Boston. It's not just an action movie, it's a tribute to the strength of a community that refused to be broken. If you're looking for a movie that's both emotional and action-packed, Patriots Day is a must-watch. The last two are both classics from the past and both totally different in their own right. First up, it's Shrek, a rare animated movie that hits just as hard for adults as it does for kids. Shrek 2001 is one of those movies that took the fairy tale rulebook, ripped it up, and threw it in the swamp. Directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen, this animated classic from DreamWorks stars Mike Myers as the voice of Shrek, a grumpy, no-nonsense ogre who just wants to be left alone in his swamp. But of course, life has other plans. One day, his peaceful home gets invaded by a bunch of fairy tale creatures. Pinocchio, the Three Little Pigs, the Big Bad Wolf. You name it, who've been kicked out of their homes by the tiny but power-hungry Lord Farquaad, voiced by John Lithgow. To get his swamp back, Shrek makes a deal with Farquaad. He'll rescue Princess Fiona, Cameron Diaz, from a dragon-guarded tower so Farquaad can marry her and become king. Oh, and along the way, Shrek gets stuck with Donkey, Eddie Murphy, the most talkative hyper sidekick in movie history. What starts as a simple rescue mission turns into something way deeper. Fiona isn't your typical damsel, she's hiding a big secret, and as Shrek and Fiona spend more time together, sparks start to fly. But there's a problem. Shrek doesn't think he's worthy of love, because, well, he's an ogre. Meanwhile, Fiona is dealing with her own fears of rejection. By the time the big wedding rolls around, everything blows up in the best way possible. Fiona's secret? She turns into an ogre at night, but instead of breaking her curse and becoming beautiful, she chooses to stay in her ogre form because beauty isn't about looks, it's about being true to yourself. Shrek finally realizes he doesn't have to be alone, crashes the wedding, and sweeps Fiona off her feet, literally. The movie ends with them riding off into the sunset, on Donkey, of course. The last movie on our list of 7 movies not to be missed before they are removed from Netflix is The Nutty Professor. This 1996 movie is one of Eddie Murphy's funniest and most iconic movies, proving that he can play just about any character, literally. Directed by Tom Shadyac, this comedy is actually a remake of the 1963 Jerry Lewis film, but with a fresh 90s spin and a whole lot of Murphy magic. Murphy stars as Sherman Klump, a brilliant but overweight and socially awkward university professor who's got a heart of gold but struggles with confidence. After being humiliated by a cruel stand-up comedian, played by Dave Chappelle, Sherman decides to take matters into his own hands, using his scientific genius to create a miracle weight loss formula. The result? Buddy Love, his new alter ego, a slim, smooth-talking, overly confident, and slightly unhinged version of himself. At first, being Buddy Love feels like a dream come true. He's charming, he's got swagger, and he finally has a shot with his crush, Carla, Jada Pinkett Smith. But there's a catch. Buddy Love isn't just a new body, he's an entirely different personality. Rude, selfish, and completely out of control. As the transformation spirals, Sherman realizes that who he is on the inside matters more than what he looks like on the outside. The movie is packed with hilarious moments, especially at the Klump family dinner table, where Murphy plays every family member in a scene that's pure comedy gold. By the end, Sherman learns to embrace himself just the way he is, proving that confidence isn't about changing your body. It's about loving who you are. It's a mix of laugh-out-loud comedy, heartfelt moments, and classic Eddie Murphy genius. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it, just maybe not while eating dinner. Have you seen all 7 movies? What was your favorite? If you have enjoyed this review, make sure you like and subscribe, and ring the little bell so that you don't miss our next movie review when it's released soon.